I got Molex Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright, so I've got my steel spear cooking. And I've got my mini bike chassis and handlebars cooking. And I've got the 2 tires I need to complete the mini bike. So as soon as that stuff gets on there, be ready to head back out. Okay, got some stuff in here I don't need though. Oh man, I watched Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Spoilers, because I want to talk about it in a bit of detail. It was okay. It was okay. I did see before I watched it, someone had said something I was watching said that it was weird to call it The Mummy because it wasn't about a mummy. And that's true. But it was sort of mummy related. So I didn't have as big a problem of them calling it The Mummy. My problem was unneeded scenes and pacing. It was so long. And more than once I was just like, ugh, how much longer? How much longer is this movie gonna take? I didn't hate it, but man, it was... Okay, I harvested aloe vera. What does it look like? This. Okay, and then I need 4 seeds. Okay, and I harvested... Oh man, I did bad on yucca seeds. I need 3 tater seeds. Oh, I didn't do good on corn either. Need 6 corn seed. Okay. So the first scene that was not necessary to this movie was the first scene. I don't understand. I don't understand the beginning of the movie. I mean, I understand it. I'm not saying I didn't understand what happened in the movie. I don't understand the point of the first scene. Because I got these people, right? And they're traveling in a car, and they're Egyptian, I assume. And they're singing along to the radio, and then the mother who's driving, for some reason, gets mad and shuts the radio off. And then she says she has a headache. And then they get back to their house, and apparently the little girl has a pet bird, I guess. And the bird is laying in a puddle of blood in its cage. And I won't have enough. I won't have enough space to add both of these mods. Oh, no, I will. I lied. Heck, this steel spear's got room for a third one. Do I have a... I don't have any... I thought maybe I could put one of the durability mods on there. Can I make those? No, not that guy. What's it called? What are you called? I know you look like a round tube. Oh, this guy. Apparently I can't make it. I thought I got a recipe for that. I thought I just picked up a recipe for that. Weird. Okay, and then we can get rid of this guy. Okay, and then let's go kill this zombie with my new steel spear right here. Oh, it really sounded like you were close. Yeah. Oh, shoot. Well, there was a hole there. Yeah, I know. I fell too. Oh. Hi. Can't tell. That felt really powerful. Nope. It feels really powerful. Why are so many zombies in my house? Oh, because she's a screamer, right? Oh, God. I need to get out of my house. She's calling in reinforcements. Stop screaming. I don't like the guy charging at me. What was that about? Is that another screamer? Why are there so many screamers? Okay. This is a bigger test of my new spear than I was expecting. Oh. Come on. Woo. Okay, I didn't appreciate that spin around move we did there. Make sure there's nothing behind me I get hung up on. Oh, what was that? It was like a fire explosion when I hit that guy for some reason. No, I didn't shut down my email. Whew, okay, that was a... Oh, we're not done yet. Oh, you know what? I bet this is the one that I have ergonomic grip. That's what I've got. Okay, who's next? Did a prison outbreak happen while I wasn't looking? Okay, can I have a couple seconds here to put together my mini bike? Oh, do I have to do that in the bench? I thought I just did that down here. I guess I should have known better. Anyways. Um, and then she asked her mother to save the bird. All right. Oh no, I do want in here. And then her mother just kills the bird. Um, you know, which is whatever. And then it goes to another scene. Ooh, I almost put that in the food. It goes to another scene where the mother and father are going to check on something that they call him. And then they go in the basement, and then, or they go in this temple area where they've got a sarcophagus. And then the husband starts to crank the wheel to lift it up, and then the wife is like, "No, no, not so fast. Just a crack. We just want a crack." And then so they crack it up a little bit. Actually, they crack it up quite a bit. For her saying just a crack, I was a little surprised at how far they lifted it. They probably lifted it like 8 or 9 inches at least. Uh, like that's a bit more than a crack. And oh, you need wood. And then the mummy in the sarcophagus blows out the lamp she has because she's got like an oil lamp for some reason. And then when she gets the light back on, her the sarcophagus lid slams back down, and the what do I want to call it? It's not a hook. The clamp comes loose and catches her husband in the bottom of his jaw and lifts him off the ground. And oh, I hear more zombies. Wait, though, I've got to get my mini bike. Oh, and some fuel for my mini bike. I don't have a lot of fuel, so I'm not gonna be able to use the mini bike too much. Dude, get out of my house. Where's the stairway? Oh, that works too. And so then uh like the whole beginning of that was pointless. It had nothing to do with the rest of the movie. Absolutely nothing to do. Like the woman is involved and the little girl is involved. But none of the rest of it. I guess the mummy and the sarcophagus is, but basically, oh, I'm going the wrong way. But basically, the none of that mattered. Like I understand why they didn't start with the ceremony, which they never really showed until the very end of the movie. Even though you know it had to have been something, and so I don't understand the point at the beginning of that movie. It was just so long, and the movie's really slow. And then we skip to this family, and there's like a whole section in there where they're talking about the husband as a reporter on television and how he's trying to get this job in the States because they live in Egypt. He's American. I guess his wife is supposed to be Hispanic. I thought she was French, but you know. Um, and then clearly I was wrong, and and so they got this whole thing in there where he's talking about his job and he's talking to his wife about his job and she talks about her job and then he's sitting there with the kids while she's at work and then he gets a phone call where they're offering him the job that he wants and then he takes the job or then he calls his wife and he talks to her about the job and then while he's doing all that, come on, give me my bike. I don't want to leave it here because I know old Rex gonna shut the doors on me here pretty quick. And I'm like, okay.
It fucking figures you're my last customer. This day can't get any worse.
Okay. Ooh, tier 2 jobs are now available. Let's do a infested clear, I guess.
Shit work for get moving, jackass. This don't pay by the hour.
And you know what? The movie skips forward 8 years and he doesn't even have that job. Well, he's not even a reporter 8 years in the future. So why did we need all of that stuff about him being a reporter? It had nothing to do with the story. Absolutely. He wanted a job in New York. I think they offered him a job someplace else, but it was the same kind of thing, just in a different city. And then he ended up as a TV producer in Albuquerque 8 years in the future. I'm like, what is? And on top of that, his job had nothing to do with the movie at all. Like I think one scene he called himself, or he said he worked for the television station, but he didn't even need to say that because he was just talking to a dude at a college about translating some hieroglyphs, and well, they weren't hieroglyphs, but I'm just like, what is going on with this movie? You've got 20 minutes in the first 30 minutes that aren't related to the story. Like, come on, man. This is how you tell a story. And and then uh and then there's this whole thing where oh, I definitely don't want to do this right now because it's about to go nighttime. What was I standing here thinking I'm gonna fight the zombies in the dark? No, thank you. It's really near my house though, so that's nice. So then so yeah, so before the 8 year skip, they kidnap the girl. That's fine, whatever. And then they have another scene that doesn't matter to the story, and that's they introduce these two cops, and the one it's like she's just starting out as a detective, and she talks to the guy who's her superior, and her senior partner, and they chit chat about finding people and how hard it is to find them alive, basically. But you know what? That guy, the senior detective, not in the rest of the movie. Didn't need to see him. Didn't need to see the interrogation with the family. Didn't matter. They're like, we think, you should. The family's the first place to look. They probably accidentally killed her, and now they're trying to hide it. And didn't play out in the movie. Didn't investigate them. Was no confusion. It just immediately jumped from that scene 8 years forward. So none of that mattered. Mummy in the coffin, that's important. Little girl getting kidnapped, that's important. Everything else from the beginning of that movie until the 8 year skip did not matter to the story at all. Um, and uh, and then uh, and then uh, they jump forward. They introduce the wife was pregnant 8 years before, so they introduced like the 8 year forward family. Uh, and now they're living in Albuquerque with the mother in law and the wife's mother, and uh, and they sit up like the teenage son wants to go on a trip to Europe, and so he's surly, right? About how they don't let him go anywhere because of what happened to his sister, right? And uh, not important to the movie. Don't know. Don't understand. Him being surly did not play into the show. The European trip had nothing to do with the show. Them stopping the children from going on vacation and stuff, nothing to do with the movie. Nothing to do with the story at all. Didn't set up any kind of behavioral issues. Nothing. I don't understand. There was just so much in this movie that didn't mean anything. And then uh and then we get to they get the phone call, and their daughter's been found alive. Oh, the daughter being found alive. I cannot grasp what was supposed to be happening. The daughter being found alive scene was this guy is riding his bicycle down desert road, and the chain pops off his bike, and so he stops to fix the chain on his bike, and then an airplane falls out of the sky behind him. It's on fire. Why it's on fire? Who knows? Um, but it falls out of the sky, crashes into an oasis. The guy goes into the oasis and he finds the downed airplane and two dead guys and the sarcophagus, and the explanation given later in the movie is that they decided they needed to move the sarcophagus. Why were they doing it by plane? I don't know. Where were they taking it? I don't know. Why did the plane catch on fire and fall in the sky? I don't know. Uh, again, nothing to do with the story really, other than that's how the sarcophagus got out of the hands of the people who know what to do with the thing inside. Um, and then Oh man, I'm thinking right now, and even some of the things I didn't think were extraneous to the story were, I now realize, extraneous to the story. Man, this steel spear is working awesome. So the whole beginning of that, or the whole sarcophagus thing, was just weird and never really explained, other than they were moving. They felt they needed to move the sarcophagus, um, and then uh, so then we jump to what's probably our second actual related to the story, third actual related kidnapping of the girl, um, showing the family 8 years later, and where they live. That was important. And then uh, showing the opening of the sarcophagus by people who didn't know what was going on. They start unwrapping the mummy inside. It's the girl. Then they get the phone call from the female detective from the beginning of the movie. Could have just introduced her there. Did not need her first part. Not only did not need her first part, but she has a totally different look 8 years in the future. Um, so I don't understand the point of the first. I guess I guess maybe it was the beginning of it. She's new to the job, and then 8 years later she's kind of jaded by the job. I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to go for. And then um basically they bring the girl back. The doctors tell her that she's got locked in syndrome kind of thing, and that they spend time with her, she'll get better maybe. She looks hideous. The movie's really gross. But it's really bizarrely, like, she looks deformed in weird ways that I don't like. Her eyes are not level, and they're kind of bulgy, and I don't know why. And they never explain why she looks like that, or why she looks more normal at the end of the movie. Um, but just I don't know. They There's a lot of gross stuff in the movie just to be gross. I feel like when they find the sarcophagus, like the husband at the beginning, right? Why did we have to see the husband being hung? Okay, I do not care about grossness. All right, have all the gore you want. It just needs to be part of the story. I don't just throw it in there because you want to do something gross. Uh, and sitting at the table eating dinner, and then the chest burster comes out of your chest. That's gross, but cool, and central to the story. Having the guy find the sarcophagus and nearly step on an eyeball laying on the ground because one of the people on the plane got flung into a branch on a tree and it went through his head in a precise enough way to poke his eye out from the back of his head. Not sure the point of that. Um, uh, the girl is weirdly gross. I don't understand why they didn't cut her nails and stuff more, or wash her or something. I don't know. And then they like there's a scene where the mother's cutting her fingernails and toenails and struggling with it because they're so thick and hard, and then like the whole front of her leg just splits off because the toenail's hard. I don't know. I don't know why it did that. And then like uh they discover that it's not actually her skin. Well, no, I don't think they ever do. Like the father discovers that the strip that came off of her isn't her skin. It's really thinly layered bindings with ancient Egyptian script on it that are prayers to hold the demon that's inside of her. And so I'm like, well, why didn't they like continue to wash her off later? Why didn't they realize that that's not her skin and it would peel off? Like I don't understand. Like they make a big deal about it not being her skin twice in the movie, but nobody cares to take it off of her. I don't know. And then uh uh and then I don't know, the movie just gets weird. They explain that the thing inside of her is a demon, and that the demon is the destroyer of families. And they try to explain that it causes the families to fight each other. But then that's not what happens in the movie. In the movie, she's just basically a monster that possesses things. Like there's no whispering or encouraging or anything. Just basically she possesses the youngest daughter a little bit. The youngest daughter gets real mean. Um, the grandmother tries to pray over her, and she headbutts the mummy girl, headbutts the grandmother. And then I'm like, well, why? Because she's an Egyptian demon. Why would she care about a Catholic prayer? Um, because she didn't react at all to any kind of Catholic religious iconography. Oof, I can't talk today. And so it was just weird to me that she would react to the prayer, but then didn't react later. So I don't know what the point of that was. It didn't mesh. And then the little girl has a scene in there where she's talking about how her tooth's about to come out because she's like 8 or 7, and and then way at the end of the movie, she just like pulls out her tooth and spits blood on the stuff at the funeral that takes place. And but then like she's standing there with blood running down her face and nobody even notices or does anything about it or cares. I don't know. And then like this is another one. There's a scene where the grandmother is in the room with the mummy girl, and I think she's praying over her, and then the mummy girl uh makes her or fights her a little bit and knocks the woman's teeth out of her mouth, and then she's got dentures, knocks her dentures out of her mouth, and then flings her out the window, and she lands on the car as her father, brother, and younger sister come back. And then these rando coyotes that they showed once before just show up and start eating her. Uh, and all I could think of was, is this supposed to be a analogy of like Jezebel? Like I don't. Why are these coyotes eating this woman? I don't understand. You didn't link the mummy girl to the coyotes. Basically, I think there's one scene where they try to leave the place and there's coyotes, but the problem is there's no linking anything that happens to anything else. And then there's just these long scenes. Like, I didn't need to see the little girl at school cursing out her teacher. I didn't need to see the family play a game of rat and frog. It didn't play into the movie, or into the story. It's over 2 hours long, and I bet you could cut 45 minutes of it easy, and make a better movie out of it. Um, and then at the like then they did the whole thing with the father goes to after he finds the strips with the writing on them, he goes to the college and he talks to an archaeologist who happens to be able to read ancient Egyptian script, and the guy explains what he recognizes, and then he plays this really old cassette tape, and the cassette tape is like, this is a prayer against the evil demon, blah, whatever. And I'm like, okay, but that professor has nothing to do with the movie, and the little story that they told tells you what the thing might be, but it has nothing to do with the movie. The strips have nothing to do with the movie. They're not important to, like, they wrap up the thing after the demons in the body, but there's no part of anything that happens during the movie where that actually plays out. Like the cop in Cairo tracks down a name that um the little girl's doing Morse code with her teeth, or not the little girl, the mummy girl. And so her father calls the cop and is like, she keeps saying Layla. You need to look for someone named Layla. And then the woman's like, there's a lot of people named Layla in Egypt. Can you think of anybody who might be named Layla? And so then or then he finds the actual person's name, Layla, and so then the cop goes, and oh shoot, my thing is about to break here. I was gonna chop down some more wood instead of just wandering around in circles. Sometimes when I'm talking, I forget what I'm doing and I just wander in circles. Okay. Uh, and uh, and so they find the woman who did the ritual. They confront her. They shoot her, or the cop shoots her. The cop then finds the woman's daughter. She digs up a tape that shows the ritual they did to Katie, is the mummy girl's name. I forgot what her name was until just now. And right, and so then that woman watches the ritual, and so nothing the father did mattered because the Egyptian woman came to their house at the end of the movie, and the Egyptian cop, and she's the one who did the ritual. So there was a 0 point in having the father discover anything that he did. I don't understand. This movie's got so much stuff in it that has nothing to do with the actual things that went down. Also, uh, at the end of it, because the old woman, the mother-in-law, had died, they had a funeral for her, and uh, there's a part in there where the brother is banging his head against the bedpost. They never show you a reason why, and then he hears in his head from Katie, and she goes, uh, I think it's her little brother. So she goes like, "Hey, little brother, how'd you like to come help me undress?" And then he goes into the room with her, and he's like, "Yes." And so he comes into the room with her, and then they start peeling off the bindings that are on her skin. Um, and I'm like, why would you even word it that way? Like, what was the point? There was nothing leading up to that statement. Nothing leads up to that statement. Um, and then like during the funeral, she's like crawling across the ceiling, and nobody sees it. And the little girl goes over and like pulls out her grandmother's dentures, and then puts them in her own mouth, and then Katie drops down onto the coffin and tears open the woman's throat, and then they knock over the coffin, and then embalming fluid comes gushing out onto the floor, and then she starts lapping up the embalming fluid, and I'm like, A, we don't use the same kind of embalming techniques as ancient Egypt. She wasn't embalmed like a mummy. So why would she be lapping up embalming fluid? I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on in this movie. You don't make any sense. Like, I understand what happened. I just don't know why things are happening. Well, I mean, I understand mostly what, but why did she lap up embalming fluid? What was the point of that? I hate when they put stuff in shows to be gross, just to be gross. I don't have a problem with gross. I don't have a problem with her lapping up embalming fluid, but why? Why was she lapping up embalming fluid? Uh, I just I Embalming fluid was not involved in her ritual. Embalming fluid was not something that she needs. It's not a liquid that you drink. Um, she's not trying to preserve herself. The mummy wouldn't, the demon in the mummy wouldn't have any need for formaldehyde, or whatever it is they use for embalming fluid now. Like like Why would she attack the woman again? How is that destroying the family? That woman's already dead. Shouldn't she be going after the other family members? But no, she doesn't destroy the family. She possessed the boy and the girl and then used them to help her do nothing. I don't know. And then I got one more scene I have to comment on was so there's some insects in the movie that crawl into people's mouths, and that happens a few times. And the in or out of people's mouths, and so they're fighting at the end, and uh, the woman, Katie, is attacking. What do I need for my stew? Oh, rotting flesh. Weird that you put rotting flesh in here, but whatevs. Oh, dude. I like hobo stewed right up the all the water I got. I have so many ingredients, I just don't have water. So, so they're fighting, and the girl, Katie, puts a scorpion in the cop's mouth, and it crawls into her throat, and then stabs its tail through her throat, and then stings the woman in the throat from the outside. Like its tail comes out of her throat and then stings her in the throat from the outside of her throat. Like the tail is, waving around. No reaction to being stung by the scorpion. What was the point of showing it sting her? No reaction to being stung. She pulls it back out and she puts her fingers in her throat so that she can do the ritual to transfer the demon from Katie into Katie's father. And then somehow at the end of the movie, they have him wrapped up in the bindings that are ancient script that nobody can read. I don't know where they got their bindings from. Didn't show it. Didn't show it. And then they transferred the demon from him into the woman who had kidnapped the girl at the beginning of the movie. I'm just like, okay, it's way too long. Your scenes don't fit together. I mean, your scenes don't mean anything is the problem. What does showing if okay, if the if the family at the beginning had been um attacked by the demon, I can understand why them being happy would be a point. But they were literally the ones with the demon. Why did the bird die? What was the point of that? That was not a thing. That was not a thing. Like the demon getting free, or the host dying. I don't know. I don't know what the point of it was. They didn't explain. Um, and so many scenes that did not matter to the movie. Why did we need to know the husband was a reporter? Why did we need to know the husband got a job in New York or wherever? Why why did we need to know the wife was a nurse? It never played into the story. Why did we need to see the little girl acting up at school? I mean, I can kind of see the little girl at school. Um, uh, why was there so much Catholic praying? I don't understand. It's an Egyptian demon. It did not respond at all to the prayers. It wasn't like the Catholic God was going to stop it. Um, I mean, okay, if you're Catholic, your Catholic God would stop the demon because the demon is a demon. obviously. And so the Catholic praying could have stopped it had they acknowledged, you know, Catholic God controlling everything. Okay, but they didn't acknowledge that. And so what I'm saying is, why? Why even have it in there if it didn't matter? Uh, like I guess just real quick to end this, just like one of my favorite scenes in Salem's Lot is when the vampire confronts the priest, and the priest tries to hold up a cross to stop the vampire, and the vampire explains to the priest that the priest doesn't have faith in his symbols, and therefore they don't mean anything. I can understand if the demon didn't respond because of something like that, but that wasn't it. The demon just didn't care. If it was a demon, they called it a demon, but I don't know. I don't know what it was supposed to be. All I know was it wasn't a destroyer of families. It was killing everybody around it. It was possessing people. It was attacking randos. It was controlling animals. I don't know. It wasn't like a secret whisper turn the family on each other. That didn't happen. That never happened. They didn't turn the family on each other. They possessed members of the family to make them attack other people. But that's not the same thing as conspiring, secretly to trick the family into hating each other or something like was implied by the story. So I don't know. Just it was okay, but man, it's rough sometimes and very long, very very long. All right, with that, be better than the small things, lean to the light, and I will talk to you later.